In Week 18, the NFL playoff picture was finalized, with the Detroit Lions securing their NFC North title and the number 1 seed for the first time in franchise history. Their 31-9 victory over the Minnesota Vikings ensured the coveted home field advantage and a first-round bye, sending a strong message that they are ready to make a deep playoff run. Despite the loss, the Vikings still clinched a wildcard spot and will face the Los Angeles Rams in the first round. The Philadelphia Eagles, NFC East champions, also secured the number 2 seed. They rested key starters before their wildcard showdown against Green Bay, which finished the season with an 11-6 record. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Los Angeles Rams, 10-7, claimed their respective division titles. Tampa Bay's victory over the New Orleans Saints locked in the 3rd seed. Despite a loss to Seattle, the Rams will face Minnesota in the first round. The NFC wildcard teams include the Minnesota Vikings, Washington Commanders, and Green Bay Packers. Washington finished with 12 wins for the first time since 1991, while the Packers' loss dropped them to the number 7 seed. This set up a rematch with the Eagles, who beat them in Week 1. The NFC playoff picture now features plenty of intriguing matchups. In the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs dominated the regular season, securing home field advantage with a 15-2 record and a first-round bye. With their 13-4 record, the Buffalo Bills clinched the number 2 seed and will host the Denver Broncos in the wild-card round after their dominating win over the Chiefs' backups. The Baltimore Ravens, 12-5, claimed the AFC North title and the 3rd seed, setting up a postseason showdown with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Houston Texans, AFC South champions, will face the Los Angeles Chargers in the first round after finishing 10-7. The Chargers, 11-6, secured the 5th seed, while the Pittsburgh Steelers, also 10-7, dropped to the 6th seed after a 4-game losing streak. The Broncos, completing a 10-7 season, clinched the final playoff spot and will visit the Bills in Buffalo. One of the most interesting stories of the AFC playoffs is the potential for a deep run by the Chargers, who are hot at the right time. Despite a weaker division, the Texans are a team to watch as they take on the Chargers. With some teams on the rise and others faltering, the race to Super Bowl 59 is heating up. The Lions' number 1 seed and historic season have positioned them as one of the top contenders for a Super Bowl appearance. Alongside teams like the Bills, Texans, and Chargers, they hope to end their long-awaited journey toward their first-ever Lombardi Trophy. The NFC playoffs feature high stakes and intense competition, making them one of the most exciting postseasons in recent memory. With the first round of playoffs now set, the road to the Super Bowl begins with plenty of excitement ahead. Fans across the league eagerly await the intense matchups and potential for upsets that the 2024 postseason promises. In Week 18 of the NFL season, the New England Patriots secured a win against the Buffalo Bills, but in doing so, they forfeited the number 1 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft to the Tennessee Titans. This dramatic shift means that despite their current record of 3-14, the Titans hold the top selection, while the Patriots, who finished 4-13, slip further down the board. The Cleveland Browns, who lost Saturday, are also in the mix for the number 1 spot. As teams finish their seasons, the outcomes of these final games are crucial for playoff positioning and draft order. The Dolphins, led by backup quarterback Tyler Huntley after Tua Tagovailoa was ruled out, still had playoff hopes hanging by a thread as they faced the Jets. Miami needed a win and a Denver Broncos loss to sneak into the playoffs. The Broncos, fighting for their playoff lives, needed to beat the Chiefs, who rested many of their starters after securing the AFC's number 1 seed. Their playoff fate for the Bengals rested on a victory over the Steelers, and they were hoping for a combination of losses from the Broncos and Dolphins. A Bengals win over Pittsburgh gave them the narrowest of hopes, though they needed a few breaks. Meanwhile, playoff positioning in both conferences remained up in the air. The NFC South was tightly contested, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers needing a win against the Saints to secure the division title for the 4th consecutive year. However, the Falcons were still alive in the race, as they could capture the division crown if they defeated the Panthers and the Buccaneers lost. Both teams had faced significant injury challenges. Tampa Bay was missing key players, including running back Alvin Kamara, while Atlanta lacked wide receiver Donnell Mooney. The NFC North was also in the balance, with the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings squaring off for the division title and potential home field advantage. The winner would secure the number 1 seed in the NFC, marking a historic achievement for Detroit if they came out on top. Green Bay, also with playoff hopes, saw its season tainted by injuries to key players like wide receiver Christian Watson and quarterback Jordan Love. The Packers were playing for the chance to move up to the NFC's 6th seed, allowing them to avoid a matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles in the wild-card round. In contrast, the Washington Commanders, already clinched for the playoffs, kept rotating in backups, including quarterback Marcus Mariota, as they sought to solidify their position. The drama was palpable as teams pushed for playoff spots, wild-card berths, and coveted draft positions. Some had a clear path to the postseason, while others could only hope for a mix of luck and strong performances to determine their fates.